if you had any doubts or nervousness going into this series, don't be. Let me just dispel all of that for you. This show, at least for this first episode, feels like the natural continuation of the Batman world through the eyes of Colin Farrell's Penguin and just the criminal element of Gotham City. It's dark, moist. It's a very moist show and nasty. It's very nasty in the best ways possible and with a great supporting cast so far. Let's go ahead and move on to my review for The Penguin. Episode 1, my impressions of this new HBO Max show. So, many of you know I am a huge Batman fan. You can easily get me off topic by bringing up Batman. I'll go on a long tangent about various Batman stories from the comics, various Batman movies, the DCAU Batman series. I could talk about that anytime, any day, anywhere, right? I love Batman. It was my first exposure to not only DC, but just the concept of superheroes overall. And I absolutely loved The Batman, which of course was directed impeccably by Matt Reeves and featured great performances across the board. Robert Pattinson, I'm so happy for him. People are finally turning around that guy, even though I feel like a lot of us were ahead of the curve on him, chat, with his great work in Good Time and, The Lighthouse, obviously. I love The Lighthouse, you guys know. But when he was announced as Batman, I was excited because I'm like, you know what? Him paired with Matt Reeves, coming hot off of the Apes movies, Dawn, War. It's going to be great. And I thought he was an excellent Batman. He's so just weird and broken and clearly psychotic. He looks like he stinks. Writing in his little journal in his diary like a weirdo. Loved his take on Batman. I thought it was wonderful. Paul Dano was the Riddler. Very inspired by real-life serial killers. The Zodiac Killer, most famously. Felt like he was a character walking out of David Fincher movie, walking out of Seven or something like that. I loved his take on the Riddler. I wish he was in the movie even more. I love that scene. Some people thinking like it's so goofy, but I'm thinking like I know people that like that. I'm like, he nailed it. He absolutely fucking nailed it. And everyone across the board, the whole casting did a great job, right? John Turturro as Carmine, Falcone. I call him Falcone, but in the movie they call him Falcone. It's just like across the board. I thought the cast did a wonderful job. I thought Matt Reeves did a great job. It was great to get a detective Batman story right in live action because they've always kind of. You've even had some Batman films where they just fucking ignored the detective aspect, or they kind of indulged in a little bit, but not a lot. And listen, as much as I love the Nolan films. Much as I love Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, he only indulged in the detective aspects of it all briefly, But this movie, it's in my top 3 live action Batman films, but one of the biggest standouts in that movie for myself, and I think for many others, was Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, or Oswald Cobb in the case of this specific adaptation. Which is weird that they said, like, we want to change the name to ground it. I guess Cobblepot sounds too goofy. Like, I'm like, I'll let it pass. It's fine, whatever, for this take, because he's so good in the role, obviously. But it's just weird they made that change. He's Oswald Cobb, Oz Cobb, but what? He's Oswald Cobb. He will always be Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot to me, chat, the Penguin. But, as everyone has said, Farrell is so good as the Penguin in that movie. The makeup on him is mind-blowing, and his performance, his mannerisms, it made it extremely difficult to even tell it was him. If you ask someone, not knowing it was Colin Farrell, who's that actor playing? I think 100% no one would even know. No one would have a fucking clue that was Colin Farrell, right? Which, again, the people that worked on that makeup did an incredible job. And his performance is great. Again, overall, it's what made him so damn good to begin with. And he made such a great impression in that movie, having surprisingly limited screen time. The movie's 3 hours long. He's not in a lot of it, but every time he's in it, it's like, wow, you fucking felt that. It's great. He's so good. So when it was announced that they were going to do a series about the Penguin, the Falcons, the whole criminal world of Gotham, the dirty, moist underbelly, I was very excited. Since, again, we're not getting the Batman Part 2 until 2026, though that looks to start filming hopefully soon. I think today or perhaps yesterday, this week, Reeves and his collaborators apparently put the finishing touches on the script. So I can't wait for it. But, what about this show? The first episode, well, if you had any doubts or nervousness going into this series, don't be. Let me just dispel all of that for you. This show, at least for this first episode, feels like the natural continuation of the Batman world through the eyes of Colin Farrell's Penguin and just the criminal element of Gotham City. It's dark, moist. It's a very moist show and nasty. It's very nasty in the best ways possible. And with a great supporting cast so far. It's all brought together by very competent direction. And, of course, again, a great performance by Colin Farrell as the Penguin. This is taking place just days after the events of the Batman. Gotham City's poorest districts, its downtown, have been decimated by the Riddler's terrorist attacks. The city is buckling under a massive humanitarian crisis caused by the flooding, and even the criminal elements of Gotham City are trying to recover from just the shock of it all, especially the Falcone crime family, which is reeling from the assassination, the murder of Carmine Falcone. And the Penguin, Oz, he sees a way to possibly climb up that criminal hierarchy and rule the city himself. Obviously, Colin Farrell was just great in the Batman for the limited amount of time that he was in it for. He just brought so much personality to it. It was such a wonderful, respectful homage to the Penguins of certainly the comics of the past. But just reinterpreted him in a really refreshing way, like truly made him a gangster. A mobster, something like that, a character that would walk out of Goodfellas, right? It just happened to be in the world of Batman, the world of the DC universe. But in this first episode, again, which only takes place like a couple of days after the events of the movie, we see so many different sides of him. Like, we really get to know who he is, what defines him, what's hints at what has happened in his past, what that has made him the man that he is. And all of just Colin Farrell's, again, he just completely, it's like, even though I'm looking at Colin Farrell, it just doesn't feel like him whatsoever. He's completely disappeared into the character through his ability as an actor. The makeup, which we see so much more of it too in this particular episode, Chad. It's not just his face, not just the suit. We see a lot of him in this episode, which was a big surprise, and it looks great because that's the thing. I think I think of a lot of makeup people's faces, certainly like fat suits and stuff. It's like you can tell it's a fat suit, right? I feel like you can tell. You think of like Austin Powers as Fat Bastard, right, or something like that, or Mike Myers as Fat Bastard, and so many other movies. Tom Hanks as the Hobgoblin in that Elvis movie, directed by Baz Luhrmann. It's like it doesn't look real. Here, again, just briefly, kind of talk about the makeup. It looks real. Like the fat, like his double chin looks like as it would on like a person who has a double chin. It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like plastic. It's like, God damn, they're killing it with the makeup on him. It looks so good. And you do see more of him. You see, You know, what he deals with, like, because he has that waddle, he has that limp, he has something wrong with his foot, and you see what's wrong with his foot, and it's like, oh my God. You know, what he goes through every day walking on that leg, and you see the results of it, it's like, it's horrible. And that's what this episode's so smart. It does, and I know this is going to sound very hyperbolic, but at least in this first episode, it does what other great shows have done when you're following a villainous character who's the protagonist of your series. This show does what shows like The Sopranos did with Tony Soprano. This show does what Breaking Bad did with Walter White. It makes you root for them. It makes you care about them, even though they are a horrible person, right? Like, I love just, I mean, again, all the conversations that this character really has with a lot of the cast, who I'll get to just a bit, members of the Carmine, Falcone crime family, members of the Cobb family and stuff, and then like a young kid that basically Oswald forces to have him like work for him and everything. Like all of his little mannerisms and things, his little ticks, it just feels so natural. Like there's just really goddamn good, the gabagool of it all. There's a lot of good gabagool in this, no doubt about it. A lot of good gabagool speak. It's like I'm listening to dialogue from The Sopranos in the show. It just happens to take place in the world where Batman's running around. That's what it is. That's what's so great about this first episode. I had a smile on my face. I'm watching another. It's like if they could have mentioned the Soprano crime family or Tony Soprano or something, like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. They just got to go. They got to take a trip over the river, and they'll meet with them to consult and figure out this Batman situation. That's what they did so well. But they humanize Oz. You know, what I thought was really cool is Oz, despite being a criminal and doing horrible things, he does have a heart. There are certain things where he's sympathetic towards people who have disabilities, because he himself has a disability, because he's went through it. Like, you know, you get a sense of his history, what he's gone through, but just seeing his reactions to certain things, like this one kid that he kind of adopts in a way, or at least forces him to work for him, this homeless teenager, his name is Vic, played by Renzi Feliz. Like, he has a stutter. And what I thought was, well, what's going to happen is, like, Oswald, he's just going to make fun of him, and he has a stutter. Never brings it up. And I thought that, oh, that was interesting. I like that, even when he, like, stutters again. It's not like, you know, it's like cartoonish, you know. But when it does happen, like, Oswald's just patient with him until he's able to finish speaking. I thought that was a really interesting choice. And there's, like, some other things, like, layered throughout the episode as well. Like, at one point, the two of them, they go on subway. They go on a train, and like you have like the handicap seats, and Oz chooses not to sit in those. He chooses not to sit in those or anything. It's just like, so he does have a heart. He does have respect. He also, just the way in which he just chooses to talk about Gotham City in general, the neighborhood. Like, you find out, like, he fucking despises the Riddler. You know, saying, look at what this madman did to the city. You know, he talks about different areas of the neighborhood where he grew up, certain people that he has looked up to and aspired to be, kind of like, you know, reveals a side of himself, the sensitive side of himself, which I think is great. But there's like even a really cool moment where, and it ends the episode this way, where him and like Vic go and get slushies. This episode made me want to get a slushie, chat, and where he sends Vic to get this slushie. They talk about the neighborhood, and he's like, it's better, right? This slushie's like, oh yeah, it's good. He's like, yeah, no, it's better. You got to mix all the flavors together. It's wonderful. It's a great thing, I tell you. We're gonna do it again. It's like, man, I like this relationship. This is really cool. This might be the Walt and, you know, Jesse of the DC universe, but we'll see. But it was like, these moments is what I'm talking about. It's like, all right, well, now I'm invested. Now I want to see, whether or not you want to see him succeed, that's neither here or there. You just want to see him, how he's gonna get out of these situations. That's the other part of it, which is so great. Like, some of the best moments in The Sopranos, and certainly in Breaking Bad, is watching Walter White or whatever character try to worm their way finagle their way out of these like situations that they've created for themselves. Maybe they fucked up, and in this episode, Oz does something where you could say, like, you fucked up, and even he says, I fucked up, and you got to see them try to survive it. And that's what brings him into contact with some of these other characters. Kristen Milotti plays Sophia Falcone, also goes by the nickname The Hangman. And Kristen Milotti, where you might be unfamiliar with the actress, I probably best know, I'm sure she's been in other things, and she's been great, and I probably haven't realized. But she was in The Wolf of Wall Street. She was Leonardo DiCaprio's first wife in that movie. And here she is here. And I would say in a much meatier role, because the Carmine Falcone crime family, they have a bit of a situation in their hands, the death of, the Don, basically. And they're trying to assess things and trying to, the result of the Riddler's terrorist attacks, trying to figure things out. And she's this wild card coming in because she was in Arkham for quite some time. And she knows Oz, and she knows not to underestimate them. And they have some great moments with her in this episode where at first she comes across, very warm, very polite, but she's a goddamn shark. Like, she's smart. She's a strategist, and she earns all those scenes. And in this particular, even a moment before this, there's just these moments where it's like, oh shit, Oz is trapped. He's trapped himself, and he's got to bullshit his way out of it. And the way in which he bullshits, it's really entertaining. It's very convincing, and it propels the plot forward and his survival forward for the rest of the episode. But I thought she was a standout. She's got those big ass eyes. She got lemur eyes. She's like Ella Purnell in that way, where she just stares at you and you just get lost in their big black eyes too. And I thought what they did with her was really cool. And there's, of course, more episodes to come. We're going to see more of her, what her time was like at Arkham. Like, you get hints. Like, she talks about, like, her experience there. But even, like, how she eats food. She's like, she's like a little squirrel just stuffing her face of stuff because probably she was starving at Arkham for so long. So there's just certain things like that I thought was really cool. Deirdre O'Connell plays Frances Cobb, Franny Cobb, who is Oswald's mother. And as soon as she's on screen, she's amazing. I love their dynamic. At first, you think it's going to be like Tony Soprano and his mother, Lydia, which, again, was great. I love their dynamic because it was horrible, it was toxic. And this one's kind of toxic as well. But it's like, what if we did that same relationship, except it was more wholesome? It was much more wholesome. And what if Franny Cobb was really supportive of Oswald and what he was doing. And then and that's all great, but what's layered on top of it is that she's in like early onset dementia. And so there's a tragedy to that as well, but you also get like a preview into Oswald's childhood, and he had a much larger family, but we don't see these other family members now, so it's like, okay, what happened to them? That's really interesting. I love their dynamic. She's only in the episode for, probably 5 or 10 minutes, but what they do with her is great, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with her in the future. But I loved her performance. And at first, she's like, "Oh, my son is here." At first, she's being very I don't know really what's going on and stuff. And you could say it's dementia, but as soon as she is on, and she's now, wait a goddamn fucking minute, you tell me what the hell's going on? What did you do, Oswald? What did you do? He's like, I fucked up, Ma. I shot somebody, and it was this guy, right? Wonderful. And then you have a number of other really talented supporting actors. Clancy Brown always brings class to whatever he's in. He plays Salvatore Maroni, and of course, Clancy Brown has a very rich history of DC. Obviously, he's the voice of Lex Luthor in the DCAU. Did a wonderful job here in the scene that he's given. At least in this episode, he does a great job. Has a wonderful interaction with Oswald Cobb as well. Michael Kelly, he plays Johnny Vitti in the show. He's kind of like the underboss of the Carmine Falcone crime family. He fucking hates Oswald Cobblepot. They have a wonderful interaction. I'll spoil a little bit of the dialogue where Oz is talking to him, and he's like, I know that you don't like me. I get it. I'm more of an acquired taste. Which I thought was so funny. There's a lot of great humor in this, and it catches you off guard. It's all in the dialogue. It's all in the goddamn dialogue in this show. And again, the aesthetic, the grounded nature of it all. It's as I said before, it's as if Sopranos or Breaking Bad was set in Gotham City, as if all these characters all operate in a world where someone like Batman exists. And the show, at least for the first episode, it succeeds in that and delivers just some damn fine television. It's also even more, I mean, the Batman was already very violent. It was pushing, that kind of like, that R rating. This one, these characters are swearing, there's nudity, they're saying fuck, it's bloody, people are getting limbs chopped up, people getting tortured and stuff. They almost show Oswald's dick. It's all that shit. You almost see the Penguin's penis. I think we even see the shadow of his shaft, chat, in this episode. So it's off to a strong start, I would say. And I'm very excited to watch this. Because they said that they were going to do that Arkham show however long ago. And now I'm thinking like, man, if you had the same people that are at least working on this or the collaborators around Matt Reeves. Let me also give a shout out to the showrunner, the Lauren LaFranc. I don't know what else they've done. Great job, Lauren LaFranc. Really impressed what you're doing so far. And the director of this particular episode, Craig Zobel, who I'm unfamiliar with. He did The Hunt. He did The Hunt in 2020. That's a pretty goddamn good movie. That's interesting. Nice. But in any case, I think this show, at least so far, has a very strong start. I'm excited for it. It makes me go back and thinking like, man, that Arkham show that they were going to do, maybe with this success, they can go back and finally do that. I think that would be really cool. I'm going to explore more of this. It's like this. I think it's wonderful that, because I was very nervous that, I don't think he would, but I was still a little nervous anyway, that James Gunn and Peter Safran would like cancel the Batman Part 2 or this show or whatever, be like, we'll just let it do. But if this is successful, Batman Part 2 is successful, we could see more of this. I think that's good. That's what DC and Marvel need. Obviously you can have your shared universes and everything. I think that's great. I think that's fine. But do these side things, do these side projects where you don't need to see every movie to watch the next one. It's like, have the Batman universe continue however long you want to continue until it's like, yes, it feels like a natural conclusion. So yeah, do this Penguin limited series, do an Arkham limited series, who knows, in the Batman Part 2, maybe there's a character that really stands out. Let's do that. I think that would be really cool. I'm GCPD. I'm telling you, this show. Thank you for bringing that up, Deadpool. Thank you so much. This show is what I wanted Gotham on the CW to be, right? Where it was, I thought it was going to focus. I initially thought they were going to be like Gotham, which is an excellent comic book called Gotham Central. It's 40 or so issues, written by Ed Brubaker, Greg Rucka, wonderful writers, and it was going to explore, that comic, it focuses on the detectives, the police officers of the GCPD and what they deal with, like ordinary criminals and these mob families, but also these supervillains like the Joker and shit and the Penguin. Like, how do they do this how do they do what they do existing in this crazy fucking world, right? And Gotham just, it just wasn't that. It just wasn't that, But the Penguin feels that way. The Penguin, except instead of like the cops, it's just the criminals, it's the mobsters, it's the gangsters, right? It happens to be focusing on the Penguin, and it's, again, at least right now, it's really good, and I want to see more of it. I'm excited to watch the next episode. Personally, I'm kind of glad that they didn't drop it all at once or dropped like 2 or 3. And these episodes are long. This was like 50 minutes. I think like the full length, it was like an hour and 17 minutes, but I think it was like just over 50. And it was great. They offer a lot. They offer a lot, chat. So, I highly recommend The Penguin, at least episode 1. I'll keep up with this show. I'll do, perhaps I'll do an episode 2 review. Maybe I'll do like a more mid-season thing and then kind of like a final full season review once the whole thing is out. But I think at least so far, pretty goddamn good. But what about you guys? What do you think of The Penguin, episode 1? Did you like it as much as I did? Were you more mixed on it? Did you just not like it? Do you not like the Batman? Is it too moist? Did you not like seeing a fully nude Penguin? We saw the shadow of the shaft, Chad. I'm not lying. Watch for it.
5 minutes later.
Let me scrub a little bit. They're gabagool. They got some good gabagool speak in this. Oz's face is beautifully interesting. It really is. It tells a fucking story. His Katria actually mentioned this, and it's shaped in such a way, his disfigurement, where he looks like a bird. Looks like a penguin.
Yeah, the scars align with like the pointiness of his nose.
Yeah. She's saying like the scars align with the point of his nose, and like you see his lip, and it just gives that look, the pointed look. Even there in the poster I have right there, he looks like a bird. Oz's face is beautifully interesting. His face is a lot of character. He literally wears his history on his face. Yep, exactly. Is Batman going to appear in this series? I don't know, but good to see a Perfunctory plushie. I think they said he's not. They do mention Batman. They do mention him in the first episode where apparently, and this could be just them, like, all right, kind of writing him off. Because he's helping with the humanitarian efforts in Gotham right now, which I guess that would be his focus at the moment, is because, again, they show the effects of the flood. It devastated the city, except for the wealthy area. They actually say, except for the wealthy areas. It's like, oh, that's going to probably, be a story, play a factor into the story. At this point, I don't need him to show up. If he did, they could be lying. He's like, okay, he shows up at one point. Or it's as a reminder, it's like, I'm still watching you. Like, I could see at the end of the show, I kind of just thought about this where, well, like, say the Penguin wins or whatever. He defeats all of his enemies, and now he is indeed the crime lord of Gotham. And he's, like, celebrating. He's doing his thing. He's like, I fucking did it. But then, like, there's a crash. There's a window crash, and he goes into the room, and, like, it's all dark and stuff. And maybe you hear Robert Pattinson's voice. You don't see him, but maybe he recorded something. And then you just see, like, a Batarang embedded in his wall on his door. He's like, fuck. Like, something like that. I can see them doing that. I'd be fine with that. But they mentioned that that Batman is busy with the humanitarian effort. They call him the Batman. He's a 6-foot-tall bat abomination that fights crime. Christopher. I want a slush puppy. That episode made me want a slush puppy so bad. Oz didn't make fun of the kid stutter because he sees himself in him. 100%. Exactly. I'm going to get a slushie when I watch the episode. He'll love that. Tony Soprano wish he had a mom like he really does, like Franny Cobb. She's wonderful. What are your thoughts on Oswald's portrayal on Gotham? And how do you think it measures up to Farrell? Wait, I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on Oswald's portrayal on Gotham? How do you think it measures up to Farrell's? I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you Oswald?
Like, how does the character Oswald appear like in Gotham compared to the show Gotham?
Oh, that's what. Okay, thank you, Katria. She translated for me. Thank you so much. Again, they're so different. Like, I like that actor. I thought that actor was the best thing, along with the guy who played the Riddler in a terrible show. They're very different from each other. And, like, of course, that actor's performance was it's more hammy, it's more campy, it's definitely an 11. Whereas Farrell, it feels like he could be a character in Breaking Bad or Sopranos, and you wouldn't bat an eye. That's what it feels like. So I like what that actor did in that bad show, but I think Farrell's I personally prefer that. My favorite joke was the song that played in the car that Vic and I was going to do. That was wonderful. And it plays in the end credits, too. That was very funny. Actually, it plays three times. It plays the first time when they get into the car, and a second time where there's a bit of a scuffle, and then the third time at the end of the episode, and I thought that was fucking great. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the show is surprisingly funny, but in, like, kind of dark ways. Yeah, I knew this went to TVMA. I know. As soon as he was like, fuck, he was just saying fucking, and boobies. Boobies are in a chat. Shadows of Dick Shaft are in it. So Penguin or Michael Fassbender are thick-ass hogs. I think I still got to give it to Michael Fassbender, but the shadow of Penguin's hog, it was something. Like, okay, he's not great to look at, but clearly the ladies like him for one reason or the other, and I think it's because he's got a big dick. Penguin's got a big dick, chat. Let's just all admit it. It's okay. I wish they didn't cancel GCPD. I would love to see that. I would love to see what a cop show would look like in this one. Yes, let's fucking go. Let's do a GCPD show. Let's do I would just call it Gotham Central. That would be awesome. You bring and Jeffrey Wright could be the main character. You can. I mean, if you wanted to, I think that'd be fun. I think he's earned that. And you can get in Renee Montoya in there. All those cops you can get Harvey Bullock. It'd be wonderful. You can introduce these characters, then you could, because apparently Matt Reeves said, watch the Penguin show because a lot of this stuff is actually going to feed into the Batman part 2. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Christian, I'll watch the show at some point, but when I really need to inject in my veins is gritty Condiment King show. I wouldn't mind Condiment King. I've said for the longest time, let's get fucking Condiment King in there. I think that'd be wonderful. I'm glad you saw 2 good yeah, I know, back to back. It was like, I was happy. I was happy today. Yeah, episode 1 of this was great. Space Cowboy Colin Farrell is absolutely fantastic, and now I want a slush puppy. Oh, Chris, did you like the writing so far of the show? Oh, it's fucking great, KC. It's great. Yeah, across the board. Motion Plus, yeah, I definitely like to see the Batman explore a little more. I know HBO is doing something similar to Dune with upcoming Dune Prophecy. That's true. It's a good point. I like the way they blend big and small screen projects that way, and they're like, they put a lot of goddamn effort into them too. So I agree. I think that'd be great. Yeah, if you scan the QR code, there's because Riddler's like he's not in the show, but you feel his effects. Although they do bring up his picture though at one point. Paul Dano, that is. But yeah, you find there's this Riddler support on a train. He's handing out these QR codes and stuff, and there's like a message you can like read. It's pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. For me, it's the Irish who has the biggest cocks. Fassbender, Farrell, Liam Neeson. I guess it's true. It's a good point. You get a Kite Man cameo. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. I'd love to see what GCPD Major Crimes looks like. Oh my God, it'd be overwhelmed. They have a few people in there that think they can make a big change, and you have all the corrupt people working there too. We really need in a live action DC show a gritty live action portrayal of the Question. I would love that. Like Question could fit in this world very easily. I think that'd be great. Get old Vic Savage. Vic. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, I'm a huge Question fan, especially Denny O'Neill's. If you guys want to check out a nice self-contained Question series, I think it's out of print now. Or maybe I think you can find it online. You could probably find it digitally. Denny O'Neill's The Question, really goddamn good. And of course, Justice League's Question with Jeffrey Combs voicing him, perfect, obviously. So I recommend it. QR's coach says Riddler Spurs are going to start a riot, so they're saying something new for next year. Yeah. So again, it all feeds into each other. So if you were a huge fan of The Batman, I think you're going to really like this series too. Because again, it only takes place like a couple days after the events of that. The effects are on full display, and I think it's going to be on full display throughout the entire season, which I think is really cool. But yeah, chap, I highly recommend both things that I reviewed. I highly recommend The Penguin Episode 1 and Transformers 1. Funny enough, both ones. But there you have it, chap. Hope you liked it. Oh my Lord. Well, that, my friends, it is 9:30, and I know I said, we can go ahead and play some Final. It's a little late for Final Fantasy now at this point. Plus, we're going to probably do 2 movies this evening. Field of Dreams and The Sandlot. So we're going to do those back-to-back, my friends, which should be super fun. So I feel like that's what we're going to do. We're going to probably just head over now to the Discord. Give me a minute to get that set up. Deadpool as a pre-show. Prepare for you guys. You all can enjoy that in the meantime while I get these links and things in place. Alberto, put me in, coach. Good to have you, Alberto. Look, good to see everyone stopping by. Yeah, some old faces I haven't seen in a minute, but welcome, guys. I do hope you enjoyed today's stream, as short as it was. Did hope you enjoyed it. I think next week I'm going to be playing. So for next week, in terms of reviews, I'm going to be watching that Agatha show, the Agatha All Along, Agatha Covenant Chaos, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm going to watch those first 2 episodes, do a review for that, most likely on Monday. Along with that Zack Snyder animated series, Trial of the Gods. I'll watch that and probably do a review for that on Monday as well. If not both, then maybe one on Monday and one on Tuesday. Along with all the gameplay I'll be playing as well. I'll be doing that what was that? Not Ubisoft. That new Steam, that new Valve game on Monday. So you have that to look forward to. Invite to a beta, which is very kind of Jarvie to invite me. Jarvie, there is actually Jarvie right there. And then playing more Still Wakes Deep, more Final Fantasy. Definitely want to focus on a lot of Final Fantasy next week as well. But along with those 2 reviews, I want to do a spoiler review for a particular movie or something like Transformers. I'm going to do like a Transformers theme movie, do a spoiler review for that. And then in terms of and of course, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Elfen Lied, obviously. And then Friday, keeping with the robots chat, they have that new DreamWorks movie, the Wild Robot, which I'll be doing a review for as well. So you have that to look forward to. And who knows what else might pop up. It'll be super fun. Can't wait. Hey, those are great reviews. You have a great night. See you at Discord Discourse. Yeah, that's right. In Discord Discourse. It's a fun episode. We're going to be talking about our favorite thing we've experienced recently. This was actually suggested by Edgy Berserker last month, but I think it would be kind of good to like either wrap up the month or either the second to last week or the last week of the month with just something that we've experienced recently. It could be a movie, could be a book, could be a video game, just anything. Just come on by, stop by, and just talk about this thing that you really love, that you've been really enjoying. So I have a number of things I can bring up. I can bring up video games, I can bring up movies, I can bring up books I've been reading. It's pretty cool. So thank you again, Edgy Berserker. Yeah, can't wait for Discord Discourse, and have a great night. And again, chat, check out Edgy Berserker streams. Give her some support. She is awesome. Biggie Smith, thank you so much. Fire. Osnick, thank you so much. Jarvie, hello. We're just about to switch over to the Discord, but thank you for stopping by. I know I'm gonna love this show. Haven't watched it yet, but I just don't want the Batman to be a cinematic universe. I just want a self-contained trilogy. No, I understand that. I get they just want to be its own thing. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But at least for right now, at least this first episode of The Penguin, it works. I'm really loving it. At least the quality's still there from the Batman. So yeah, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. And if they could, what could eventually happen? They could do their 3 movies or whatever, which is I think what Matt Reeves wants to do, and they could do how many TV shows in between. I think that Arkham show would be great. I think a Gotham Central show would be amazing. Kind of have that be its own thing. Maybe get like 3 movies and 3 TV shows, 3 miniseries. I think that'd be really cool. But we'll see. See what happens. Clown Freaks, a little happy tabby dano dance. Thank you so much, Clown Freaks. Hamilton Burger, Biggie Smith, Jarvie, Alberto, Deadpool. Since they're hinting that the Batman 2 is taking place during winter, do you think it'll be a Christmas movie like Batman Returns? I hope so. That's absolutely what I want. I think I love as you guys know, I love Gotham in winter. I just something about that snow and that architecture, especially this place. Oh my God, this city in the winter be a fucking nightmare. Hell yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, say what you will about Batman Returns, but the aesthetic of that movie is fucking perfect. Yeah, I would want that. So, yeah, I think it absolutely should be set in winter. I think that'd be really cool. Like, this one is set in, like, the fall. And so you have this one set in the winter. And then maybe, like, the next one's, like, in the spring or summer or something like that. I think that'd be really neat. So, do that. And, yeah, I don't know who the villain... I'm still would love the Court of Owls, personally. I want Mad Hatter and Court of Owls. That's kind of what I want. There's been a lot of... not, like, rumors, but, people have wanted Mr. Freeze. And I wouldn't be against Mr. Freeze. That's kind of a more fantastical villain, though, I think, for this type of Batman, but we'll see. I would love to see a great live-action version of Mr. Freeze, and they could probably take a lot from the animated series, do it well. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, set in winter, fuck yeah, I want that. Yep. Can't wait. Yeah, they can bring back Let's bring back Max Shrek. That'd be one. Yawn. Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up as Batman? Because he is Batman, you moron. Just to have Robert Pattinson punch him in the face and say, "Shut up, you're going to jail." He's not gonna stop punching though. That's the thing about Robert Pattinson's Batman is like he's not gonna stop. Oh Christ.